All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting right into it, focusing on a skill that is, no joke, one of the most critical parts of your CDL test, seeing hazards like a pro. And look, this isn't just about what you do behind the wheel, it's about how you think ahead. We're going to break down exactly what those examiners are looking for.
So let's just jump right in with the big question, right? What's the number one reason drivers actually fail the hazard perception test? When you really boil it down, it's almost always the same thing. They don't spot a potential problem before it blows up into a real emergency. And that's the pro mindset we're here to build today.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to be on the same page. What even is a hazard, according to the test? Well, the official definition says it's any road condition or road user that's a possible danger. Now, the words you really need to latch onto there are possible and forcing you to change. It means your job isn't just to react to what's happening right in front of you, it's to constantly be thinking, what could happen next?
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll talk about the people problem, probably the most unpredictable hazard out there. Then we'll get into decoding other drivers. After that, we'll cover reading the road, and we'll wrap it all up with your emergency action plan. All right, let's dive into our first section, the people problem. And we're starting here for a really good reason. Because let's be honest, whether they're walking or driving, people are hands down the most unpredictable thing you're going to deal with out there.
Okay, now look closely at this list. This isn't just, good advice. These are specific scenarios straight out of the CDL manual. These are things you'll absolutely be expected to spot on your test. You've got shoppers who are totally zoned out, not watching traffic, people rushing in the rain with their heads down, and a huge one, kids playing near the road. You also got to be on high alert around crash scenes and bus stops, right? People are distracted, they're not thinking straight, and they can step right out in front of you.
All right, next up, we're leveling up our awareness game with decoding other drivers. See, this is where you go from just reacting to what happens to actively anticipating what's about to happen. It's all about learning to read those little clues other vehicles give you, sometimes way before they even hit their turn signal. So what this really means is you got to become kind of like a detective on the road. You're always looking for those little early warning signs, like a driver's head turning. That can tell you they're about to change lanes way before their blinker does. Oh, and here's a big one for the test. Always pay extra attention to rental trucks. Why? Because the person driving is probably totally unfamiliar with that truck's size and its huge blind spots. This is exactly the kind of hazard recognition they'll test you on.
Okay, now here's a classic scenario. I guarantee you'll see something like this on your test. Imagine this. A big truck is in front of you. It signals a right turn, but then it swings out into the left lane first. So what's the immediate danger? What are they worried about? It's that car, right? The smaller car that sees that big open space on the right and thinks, hey, I can squeeze by. And they try to do it right as that truck is coming back over.
And this is the pro tip, the correct way to handle it to prevent that exact crash. First, you signal your turn. Then, as you start that wide turn, you keep the rear of your trailer tight to the curb or the parked cars. See what that does? It physically blocks the lane. It makes it impossible for someone to try and squeeze in there. This is exactly the kind of defensive driving, that smart positioning that the examiners want to see. Okay, so we've talked about people and other drivers. Now let's talk about reading the road. This is all about the hazards that are part of the environment itself. The stuff that doesn't move but can be just as dangerous if you're not looking for it. I love this comparison because it really shows the difference between a rookie and a pro mindset. A rookie driver, they see a cardboard box on the highway and just think, it's a box. But a pro driver sees a whole list of questions. Is that box really empty? Is there something heavy inside that could blow out my tire? What if the car in front of me swerves to avoid it at the last second? That's the kind of thinking the test is all about. So, what this means is you have to be actively scanning for all this stuff. We're talking debris, boxes, those sharp pavement drop-offs at the edge of the road that can totally wreck a tire. And a huge one is merging traffic. You have to just assume, that cars getting on the highway don't see you, or they have no idea how fast you're going. These are all major high-risk situations you're going to be tested on.
Okay, listen up, because this one is a big deal. This is a rule you have to know like cold. It is not a suggestion, it's the law in a lot of places, and it's a major safety point on your exam. When you see stopped emergency vehicles up ahead, lights flashing, you must move over a lane, as long as you can do it safely. I'm telling you, this is a huge point of emphasis, both for real-world safety and for passing your CDL test.
All right, it's time to bring it all home. Let's get into our final, and honestly, the most important section,
Your emergency action plan. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. It's where we go from just seeing the hazards to turning that knowledge into smart, safe, and decisive action.
So you did it. You were paying attention. You spotted a potential hazard way up the road. Awesome. But now what, right? Because spotting the problem is only half the battle. What you do next, that's what separates the pros from everybody else.
And here it is, your 3-step action plan. And trust me, this is exactly what the examiners are looking for. Step 1, see it. Spot that hazard before it becomes a full-blown emergency. Step 2, think. What are your options? Can you slow down? Can you change lanes? You always need an escape plan. And step 3, act. Put that plan into motion, but do it smoothly, deliberately. We're not talking about slamming on the brakes or yanking the wheel. It's all about smooth, controlled, professional reactions.
You know, if you take away only one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this one sentence, straight from the manual. You will have more time to act if you see hazards before they become emergencies. That's it. That is the entire game right there. It's not about being a superhero with lightning-fast reflexes. It's about seeing things early enough so you never need those reflexes. Once you master that single idea, you're not just ready to ace the test, you're ready for a long, safe career out there on the road.